sorry, it's Mark, because I live in a rent control apartment. How would you rectify current rent control laws, which sometimes force small San Francisco property owners to subsidize rental rates for tenants who may be more financially secure than the landlords? Who's next in line? Scott? Yeah, Scott.
So I support rent control. It's an imperfect system, but it is, I think, the best that we have in terms of being able to give people stable housing and not have people being subjected to the ups and downs of the housing market and the real estate market. So I do support rent control. There are small property owners who are in a very bad situation. They have one unit with a very below market rent, and they're having trouble maintaining the building. And so it's important to elect members of the Board of Supervisors who don't have a knee-jerk reaction one way or the other when rent control measures get brought up and considered by the board. It's important to have a supervisor who's going to treat everyone fairly, treat tenants fairly, treat property owners fairly, who's going to listen to everyone, have an open door, and take that kind of approach. Too often our board doesn't listen to one side and only listens to the other side, and that is a bad way to govern.
Rebecca?
So whoever asked the question, for me, hit the nail right on the head. The person who makes $100 grand and is paying $500 a month in rent, who's skewing the results for every other person who needs an affordable unit in the city. And for me, the question is, how do I get the person who's making that much money, get that person out and have that person buy a home so that those units can get on the market for the persons who need them? We need to make sure that we are protecting the person in the tenderloin who isn't making as much money, and I will fight for both opportunities as a member of the Board of Supervisors.
Bill?
I do agree with Rebecca on this. I think there's two things. I support current rent control, but I also strongly support income verification, maybe every 2 years, maybe every 3 years of renters, to make sure we're being fair in the entire market. So I would totally support that idea.
Rafael?
Well, to my mind, a commitment to rent control is pretty hollow if you're not willing to do something about the loss of rent-controlled units to TICs and condo conversions. We've lost thousands of those units in District 8 and across the city, and I think we need to get a handle on that to try to protect and preserve the rental housing stock that we have now. That said, I recognize that there is an unfair burden being imposed on a lot of small property owners, and to the extent that we can get the public to take on some of the risk and spread some of this risk a little bit more broadly, I would support efforts to make it a more attractive thing to be a small property owner.
All right, my next question.